All right, now we're excited to move into lightning talks from the tech teams who focused on these challenges. First, we'll hear from Mapbox and NewLight Technologies about their work on enabling NAEP data to support agricultural our collaboration with USDA, and from SAP and EcoBloc on their work to develop markets for recycled materials, our challenge in collaboration with EPA. To kick things off, I'll first hand it over to Mikkel from Mapbox. Take it away, Mikkel.
Hey, thanks, Drew. Hi, everybody. I'm Mikkel from Mapbox, and we worked on NAEP Viewer. Mapbox, I lead the community team at Mapbox. We build tools for developers to add maps to their applications. And this challenge was about NAEP. This is an amazing resource. The entire continental United States is imaged every 3 years, and it's made available to anyone who needs imagery, as well as particularly to USDA agriculture centers at the county level to support people. But it's available in GIS formats. It's not as accessible as it could be, and so that was the challenge we took on: is can we make essentially NAEP imagery as useful, as accessible as the apps that we already have in our pockets for accessing maps. We wanted to make sure that users at the USDA and the farmers they serve could make best use of NAEP. And I'd especially like to thank Joan Beidiger from USDA, who has been really helpful with guidance through this entire process. For our team at Mapbox, we got to stand on the shoulders of a lot of work which had already happened by our imagery team to process all of this imagery into one seamless base map. So NAEP is distributed on a state level, so you can get imagery, in each of the 48 states. To stitch it together and make one seamless image is quite a lot of work. So we had an amazing starting point for volunteers to work on this community project. Pratik Yadav from the imagery team and Arindam Bose from our GLJS team. Basically, we started with, let's take the approach. We have our NAEP layer. Let's use a very simple template. We have a lot of examples to do so, to just build a map viewer using NAEP imagery. That happened really fast. And then we had a number of really great sessions getting feedback from USDA teams. So in August, we gave a pitch about what we had built so far, and Joan had a lot of great feedback, including letting us know that the actual acquisition dates of all the imagery was available and something that we could download and process as well. Here's Oklahoma, and you can see those little stripes. Those are each of the scenes which were acquired on a particular flight on a particular day that all got stitched together for all of Oklahoma. So we also took all that imagery, all that data for all 48 states, and stitched together into the NAEP viewer, which is available at this URL. And when you open up, this is continental United States. You see every NAEP image is there, and there's green boundaries. And as you zoom in, you actually see the imagery, and you can mouse over to actually see when it was acquired, and pan and zoom, geolocate yourself. So you can just click, and wherever you are, it will locate you and bring you to where the imagery is for your place. And it's really a stunning resource. Farmland, as well as the middle of cities, as well as natural areas, the Mississippi Delta. And it's pretty remarkable to see, how that imagery is stitched together. Here's an example with just 2 weeks apart in 2018. On the left, on the west side, you can see leaf was still on the right side 2 weeks later, already into fall colors. So our plan from here, we're gonna keep the NAEP viewer up. But if there are folks out there who would really like to find a long-term home for a tool like this that makes NAEP easy to use, please get in touch. And I think NAEP can learn a lot from other agencies. NOAA does amazing work with the Big Data program and distributing very massive imagery data sets. So that's it. See you at the live demo. There's my contacts. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mikkel. It's so great to see how closely you worked with USDA on this and how that partnership resulted in a more robust use of NAPE data. We're so excited to see how this can support farmers and other agricultural decision makers. And next, I am excited to hand it over to Dave Williams from NewLight Technologies to talk about their approach to this challenge and the impacts on precision agriculture. So Dave, I will turn it over to you now.
I thank you for having us. My name is Dave Williams from NewLight Technologies, and our project is called Precision Ag, or Agriculture for American Farmers. And the motivation for this has to do with a variety of factors that we're all facing. For example, the global population growth expected to hit, I think, 10 billion by 2100. Factors like climate change that we've all heard of and are working on resolving, and trying to be better environmental stewards, especially regarding the practices that use the land and use the earth. And when it comes to farming, the state of the art and the way that we help meet and address the factors that I just laid out really is through something called precision agriculture, which is it's defined as it's marrying data and technology to intelligently apply seeds and inputs or fertilizers into a farm field so that we get higher yields. In other words, we grow more food within a given area. We have less runoff, right? So we don't over apply fertilizers leading to like algal blooms in the water. And so we have more profits for farmers. And as we're seeing with more folks moving to urban areas, which is a trend, and our growing population, we need to ensure that farmers are incentivized to continue farming to meet the growing demands, the food demands for our population. Well, precision ag is not new. We're not inventing it. It's proven, it works. And those benefits that I talked about, well, why isn't everyone using it? Well, a couple reasons. It's expensive. The software is expensive. It's complex and complicated. It often requires advanced training to use it. And the vendors and solutions out there today tend to be closed, very proprietary. And these are barriers to accessing precision ag for farmers, agronomists, and so forth. Well, that is what led to our project, which is called Precision Ag for really all American farmers. And it's a web-based precision ag portal that really is based upon government data, freely available government data, really like USDA NAPE, that provides value in the ability to do precision ag right now. We're also using a variety of models, academic models, other government models to do the analytics, run the analysis so folks can do precision ag, but we're removing the barriers that we've talked about. So how does it work fundamentally? Like, what's the use case? Well, you go to the URL, pagaf.nltmso.com. You log in and define your fields. You have to define where your field boundaries are. Depending upon the model you're running, you input some parameters and you download your result. Now, this is the actual product. This is an example of what's called nitrogen application for corn. Corn is a huge crop. Nitrogen is the most important thing during a grow season. And the different colors represent different nitrogen application amounts based upon that analysis that we just ran. Ultimately, what do we do with this? Well, a farmer agronomist emails and uploads that map I just showed to their tractor. This tractor has a nav system. And as that tractor drives along, based upon that map, that sprayer on the back adjusts how much is coming out, in this case, maybe liquid nitrogen, so that we don't overapply. And so the optimal amount is put down. So we don't, we get the greatest yield, we don't have runoff. That is precision ag in a nutshell. And that is our project. We hope you enjoy it, and I hope you try it out, and really thank you for the opportunity. I'll pass it back. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dave. So cool to see how that work turned out and your take on precision agriculture and how you worked with NAPE data. So next, we'll move into the two teams that focused on developing markets for recycled materials And first, we will hand it over to our colleagues, Jim and Paulina from SAP.
Hi, thanks so much, Drew. This is Jim Sullivan here with Paulina Gershman from SAP. And our project is really focused around how to help enable public sector and private sector to work together towards a more circular economy focused around city of Chicago. I would be remiss if I didn't start with the global challenge. We worked with my old agency, EPA, and really the idea here is how do we measure planetary impact at scale? So we as a company, our CEO, Christian Klein, was at Davos earlier this year, announced a vision for a plastic-free ocean along with the World Economic Forum Global Plastics Action Partnership, along with World Wildlife Fund, along with Ellen MacArthur Foundation and many of our customers, how we can work together towards this impact, and really how do we align the interests of people, the planet, and modern business to move together to tackle this, this global challenge. So the business question we look to focus on is really around empowered decision making, whether it's for consumers, whether it's employees of a business, whether it's government employees, is how do we really align data with values so that small choices can add up to global impact. One of the big challenges with climate change, with ocean plastics, is many people feel that these issues are so big. What can I do to make a difference? And we're here to show you that today. So the concept of circular economy really starts with responsible design, where 80% of the impact is locked in. It moves to sourcing and marketplace. How do we ethically source materials, including recycled materials at their highest and best value? How do we move towards responsible production and close the loop within waste materials there? And then how do we engage around consumers to get them to get materials back into the productive flow as opposed to being landfilled or incinerated? And finally today, turning over to my colleague Paulina, we're going to do a deep dive on resource recovery and reuse and material tracking.
Great. So we'd like to introduce you to Nancy Callahan. Nancy is a Deputy Commissioner of Policy and Sustainability for the City of Chicago. So her ultimate goal is to understand the value of materials within the recycling systems that are lost to landfills. And the means by which she's able to achieve this is through data, right? So one of the big voids for her at the moment is an aggregated view on how resource material is moved within the city limits and also right beyond that. So together with our partners, Pixera, Topolytics, Replay, and the Recycling Partnership, we are undertaking to solve the problem of how can we empower city officials to make informed decisions around resource management that lead to transparency, investment, and job creation. So before we got to Nancy as our main stakeholder, we really needed to understand who the particular players were, both within the local government, but also as we extend out into the private sector, the community, and the individual. And this is pretty important, right? Because there's a lot of interdependency and a lot of connection between the two, right? So for example, for Nancy, she could very well need to see, the information on hauling, right? So where the material is being taken, and also, from a perspective of CPGs, what is it exactly that they are getting rid of? What does it consist of, and how can we put it back into the system? And from a local action and impact perspective, I would just like to take a moment to paint a high-level picture of Nancy's journey and how she could influence, for better decision-making. So at the get-go, she is reviewing material movement data that shows, the movement of stuff, so to speak, around the Chicago city limits. In reviewing this data, she notices some sort of an inconsistency and perhaps a certain percentage of glass and paper that's being moved to part of the west side of Chicago. She's then able to pull up a CPG resource management report, and that shows that a certain glass or paper commodity is in demand by swift drinks. And that allows her to take action in two ways. One is she's able to create a repurchase model between the city and Swig Drinks, creating a material reuse loop. And basically it allows her and Swig to understand how much of the material they sell into a particular region or area, and how much of that material would be available for reprocessing to make into new packaging material. And then lastly, she's also able to put together an investment plan focusing on adding additional facilities in areas around Chicago, which also brings us to another goal that she has, which is, around job creation.
Great, thanks so much, Pauline. And to wrap up, local action at scale really helps lead to global impact. So this is an extension of a project we did with the government of Scotland, Topolytics, Coca-Cola, DS Smith, and Brewdog, looking at waste flows for the upcoming COP26 conference, and shows both in Europe and the US how within existing more mature waste management systems, we can track the real-time movement of materials. There's a project in Ghana with the government of Ghana looking at, in less developed economies, less developed waste management systems, how to do that and tie into the plastic pickers to bring them more into the formal economy. And then finally, working with Emily Penn, really an option to work with consumers and show how the impact of those choices can help with this. So if you're excited to work with us on this journey, please reach out to circulareconomy@sap.com. Thanks.
Thank you so much, SAP team, Jim and Paulina. It's really exciting to see the work that you're doing and how you can advance a circular economy in Chicago. So next, last but not least, I'll turn it over to Ali from EcoBloc to talk about the work that they've done on this challenge.
Thanks, Drew. And hello, everybody. My name's Ali. I'm a CEO and co-founder of EcoBloc. And the product I'm presenting to you guys is well enough is EcoBloc, excuse me. So EcoBloc provides a transparent recycle marketplace. We utilize blockchain technology basically connect recyclers and buyers. The issue that we uncovered here is that there's not enough transparency in the industry, and this is needed to actually increase consumption of recycled materials. So what our goal is actually to improve the circular economy. We want to push towards a more transparent economy, and the way to do that is through a few ways, but we really want to focus on zero waste. And I'm going to explain how that's done. So the issue, after speaking to a number of users, advocates during this process, was that, for example, KW Plastics, they would say, well, the market is, most of their consumers are, consumer package companies, right? You have to go through the FDA approval, or USD if there's anything that's touching, let's say, haircut products or anything that's touching food. Another issue is that there's cheap oil at this point, and that creates price wars with virgin plastics. So there's a likelihood, there's no incentive for a consumer package company to trust a recycled product when there's cheaper options. So after speaking again to another user advocate, the Plastics Association, they brought up an interesting point. They basically said, hey, we have this EV program that we ran a year or so back, where we seen that car dealerships and auto body shops are basically paying $400 to get car bumpers removed. And that was a eureka moment. We said, okay, what else is out there in terms of industrial opportunities, right? So that we look at this as a opportunity to look downstream for commercial use of products. Our computers, our PCs, the things that we use for our TVs, these things are not, you would say, consumer products. These are industrial use products. Even molding cleats on, football shoes. We all can see these products being used and enhancing our circular economy. We look at industrial use. When we say industrial, we're looking at recycled material that can create bricks or plastic wood. These things can be used for, you know, any industrial or real estate project, even if it's, you know, using for our driveways. We see this as the new way to actually reduce our carbon footprint, increase manufacturing and assembling on shore, and this will actually create the jobs. So where do we come in this opportunity? Well, we're EcoBloc, and the value here is that, you know, when you come, you can search for products by geography, and this helps small municipalities. This helps you know, large municipalities. It helps everybody communicate through a trusted platform. Now you can verify your products. You can verify the person that you're interacting with. You can track your shipments, and you can negotiate price, which is very important. This actually reduces the dependency on brokers and sketchy people that's associated with the, you know, recycling industry. So our solution provides, you know, verified buyers. In previous material marketplaces that we've seen, was that most of the people that comes to these things, that, you know, they want to be involved, but they're more artisan. This is more focused more on I would say, bigger consumption of products. You have a supply chain network where you could track, you can negotiate, you have risk management elements to it, and you have dashboards and payment and processing, all handled through our platform. Our platform hasn't launched yet, but if you have any more if you need more information, please contact me at ali@ecobloc.io. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Ali. It's so cool to see how you're using blockchain for this challenge, and just in general to see how each team has taken on these problem statements in such different ways. So that concludes our lightning talks for this session. Thank you so much again to all of our speakers and the participants on these problem statements in our sprints this year. We look forward to seeing all of you throughout the rest of Demo Week, and especially at the Live Demos Expo later today. We hope that you will all sign into that to get a closer look at these products. And next, we will turn it over to our on-the-ground community reactions panel, who are going to discuss what's next for these products and how we can really get them into end users' hands. Thank you.